Good morning, children. Welcome back to yet another session in social science. Today, we will discuss Standard 7 History, Unit 3, Emergence of New Kingdoms in South India, Later Cholas and Pandyas, Part 3. Dear children, in the last two sessions, we discussed about the later Cholas, the Rajaraja Chola I and Rajendra Chola. The Rajaraja I was the most powerful ruler of the Chola Empire. He established the Chola authority over large parts of South India. His much acclaimed naval expedition led to the expansion of Cholas into the west coast as well as in Sri Lanka. He is the brain behind the famous Rajarajeshwaram temple in Tanjavur. His son and successor Rajendra Chola matched his father's ability to expand the empire. His expedition to North India culminated in capturing much territory there, and he proclaimed himself as Gangaikonda Cholan. The Cholas had even control over the seas, facilitating a flourishing overseas trade. The successors were not as powerful as the Rajaraja Chola and Rajendra Chola, and in 1279 marked the end of the Chola dynasty when the last king of Rajendra Chola III was defeated by King Maravarma Kulashekara Pandyan and established the rule of Pandyas. We also learned about the administration, that is the local governance, from the Uttaraimerur inscriptions. The Urar were the spokesmen for the Ur and Sabayar in the Brahmin villages. Nagaratar administered the settlement of the traders, and Natar functioned as an assembly of Nadu and decided all the disputes and issues pertaining to the Nadu. And the assemblies of Ur, Sabha, Nagaram and Nadu worked through various committees which took care of irrigation, roads, temples, garden, collection of revenue and the religious festivals. We know that revenue of the Chola state came from the land. The land tax was known as Kanigadan. They had elaborate survey of the land in order to fix the government share of land revenue. There were taxes on profession and tolls on trade. The social structure was based on land relations. There were Devandana villages, Pallichandams, Velanvagai and Brahmadeya. The people who owned land of Velanvagai were called as Velalars, and Urkudi, a subsection of Velalar, used to work in the farms. The Adimai and Panikai Makkal occupied the lowest rung in the society. Talking about the irrigation, they gave much importance to the irrigation. The long embankment of 16 miles built by Rajendra Chola in Gangaikonda Cholapuram is an example. A crisscross channel, Vatti Vaigai, traditional type of harnessing rainwater in the Kaveri Delta. And they practice a turn system in distributing the water. Chola rulers were ardent Saivites. The hymns in praise of deeds of Lord Shiva were composed by the Saiva saints, Nayanmars. Nambi under Nambi codified them, which came to be known as the Tirumurai. The temples in Tanjavur, Gangaikonda Cholapuram and Dharasuram are the repository of architecture, sculpture, painting and iconography of the Chola art. Temples promoted education and devotional forms of arts. The Chola kings were great patrons of learning. Vedic colleges established by Rajendra I at Ennairam, now in Viluppuram district, with 340 students and 14 teachers learning Vedas, grammar and Upanishads. Following his footsteps, his successors also built colleges at Tirubhuvanai and Tirumukudal in the present-day Chengalpattu and Puducherry. The great literary works of Periya Puranam and Kambaramanam belong to this period. The trade during the Chola dynasty flourished. It was carried out by two guild-like groups, Anju Vannattar and Mani Gramattar. The Anjuvanattar were maritime traders who settled on the port towns along the west coast. Manigramattar were the traders engaged in inland trade. Later, they merged under the banner of I Nuttuvar. There were export and import of goods from Southeast Asian countries. It included elephant tusks, coral, transparent and opaque glass, betel nuts, cardamom, cotton stuff with colored silk threads. And the exported items were sandalwood, ebony, condiments, precious gems, pepper, oil, paddy, grains, and salt. In today's session, we will discuss about the later Pandyas. Children, the Pandya dynasty, also known as the Pandyas of Madurai, was a dynasty of South India, one of the three ethnically Tamil lineages, the other two being Chola and Chera. Learn the word lineage, Lineage, lineage. Lineage is a direct descent from an ancestor, or you can say parentage or pedigree or descent. So the three ethnically Tamil lineages were the Pandyas, Cholas and the Cheras. The rulers of these three dynasties were referred to as, yes, very correct, you have learned it earlier, right? The Moovendar or the three crowned rulers of the Tamil country. The Pandyas ruled extensive territories, at times including the large portions of present-day South India and Sri Lanka, through collateral branches subject to Madurai. Collateral, C-O-L-L-A-T-E-R-A-L, collateral. Collateral is an asset that a lender accepts as a security for a loan. It acts as a form of protection for the lender. The Madurai, the ancient city on the Vaigai River in South Indian state of Tamilnadu, is the capital of the Pandyan Empire. Pandyas were one of the three ancient Tamil dynasties that ruled South India since the 4th century BC, but intermittently. Intermittently, intermittently means at irregular intervals, not continuously or steadily. So the Pandyas ruled the southern India since the 4th century, not continuously but at intervals. Korkai, associated with the pearl fisheries, is believed to have been their earlier capital and port. Their capital was Korkai in the beginning. They moved to Madurai later, as many early Tamil inscriptions of Pandyas have been unearthed in Madurai and its surroundings. They started with their capital and the port city of Korkai, which had pearl fisheries. A fishery, F-I-S-H-E-R-Y, fishery is a workplace where fish are caught and processed and sold. So a pearl fishery is a place where fish or pearl oysters are fished. You can see on the map the Korkai and the Madurai and the pearl in the oyster. Under the Pandya kings of the Sangam age, Madurai was a great center of culture. Poets and writers of Tamil language gathered there and contributed to the development of Tamil classics. The Pandyas had re-established their strong position in South Tamilnadu by the end of the 6th century AD, after eliminating the rule of Kalabras. But they could not resist the rising power of the later Cholas, who ruled South India from 9th to 13th century. Thereafter, taking advantage of the decline of Chola power, the later Pandyas re-established their authority, and their rule continued until the 16th century. Dear children, during this period only many masterpieces were created. The Silappatikaram, the great epic in Tamil, was written based on the story of Kannagi, who burnt Madurai as a result of the injustice caused to her husband Kovalan. The Kalabra dynasty were rulers of all or parts of the Tamil region, sometimes between the 3rd century and the 6th century. After the early Cholas, early Pandyas and Cheras. The Kalabras were overthrown in the 5th century as the Chalukyas and Pallavas rose to power. The Pandyas regained power after eliminating the rule of Kalabras, but they couldn't resist the rising power of later Cholas. Once the decline of Chola happened, the later Pandyas re-established their authority and ruled till the 16th century. Now we will see the revival of the Pandya kingdom. Kadunkon, the one in the picture, recovered Pandya territory from the Kalabras towards the close of the 6th century. So Kadukon was able to revive the Pandya territory from the Kalabras. Kadunkon, Kadunkon, Kadunkon. He was succeeded by two others. Arikesri Maravarman was the first strong Pandya ruler. Who was the first strong Pandya ruler? It was Arikesari Maravarman. Arikesari, Arikesari, Arikesari Maravarman, Maravarman, Maravarman was the first strong Pandya ruler who ascended the throne in AD Common Era 642. Children, Arikesari's reign witnessed the beginning of the Pandyas' contest with the Pallavas in the north. He probably entered into an alliance with the Chalukyas to counter the Pallavas. The Pandyas also came into collision with the Cheras. The Arikesari Maravarman was a contemporary of Mahendravarman I and Narasimhavarman I. Learn the word contemporary. 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 Contemporary is living or occurring at the same time. Children, who recovered Pandya territory from the Kalabras? It was Kadunkon. And who were the first strong Pandya ruler? It was Arikesari Maravarman. He was a contemporary of Mahendravarman I and Narasimhavarman I. Inscriptions and copper plates praise his victory over his counterparts, the Cheras, Cholas, Pallavas and Sinhalese. The inscriptions of the 8th century is a bilingual copper plate grant, that is written in Sanskrit as well as in Tamil language. Arikesari Maravarman is identified with the Kun Pandyan, the persecutor of Jains. Persecutor, Persecutor, persecutor. Persecutor is a person who harasses or annoys someone persistently, who will be troubling the Jains. He was considered as a Kun Pandyan. Kun Pandyan is hunchback Pandyan. He converted Shaivism to Jainism, then reconverted under the influence of the Sambandar. After his reconversion, he ordered a massacre of 8,000 Jains. Sambandar is said to have cured his hunched back, after which he was known as Sundara Pandyan. After Arikesari, the greatest of the dynasty was Jatila Parantaka Nedunjadayan or Varaguna I. He is assumed to be the issuer or the donor of the Velvikudi plates, with inscriptions in both languages, Sanskrit as well as Tamil. It is one of the earlier sources that mention the Kalabras. The Nedunjadayan expanded the Pandya territory to include Tanjavur, Tiruchirappalli, Salem and Coimbatore districts. The picture shows the Velvikudi inscriptions as well as the Nedunjadayan's rock-cut architecture unfinished temple, Kalugumalai Jain beds in the Thoothukudi district is believed to have been built by the Pandya king Nedunjadayan. Nedunjadayan's successors Srimara, Srivallabha and Varaguna II were successively defeated by the Pallavas. They were defeated by the Pallavas. Two successors, Srimara, Srivallabha and Varaguna II. Later, they could not face the rising Chola dynasty under the Parantaka I. Parantaka I defeated the Pandya king Rajasimha II and he fled the country in 920. Thus ended the Pandya rule, revived by Kadungon. The picture in red shade is a drawing of King Srimara, Srivallabha. Children, it is said that Saivite saint Tirunana Sambandar converted Arikesari from Jainism to Saivism. Actually, it was a reconversion. On his conversion, Arikesari is alleged to have impaled around 8,000 Jains on stake. He is believed to have murdered 8,000 Jains. Though the number is an exaggerated one. Exaggerated means enlarged or altered beyond normal thing. The anti-Jain attitude of Arikesari, anti-Jain means against the Jains, after his conversion to Saivism cannot be doubted. Now we will see the later Pandyas. The Chola Viceroyalty. Viceroyalty is a territory governed by a viceroy. A territory governed by a viceroy. And a viceroy is a person appointed to rule a country or a province as the deputy of the sovereign. So the Chola viceroyalty became weak in the Pandyan country after the death of the Adi Rajendra, who was the last king of the Vijayalaya line. Eventually, the Pala kingdom could emerge as the only leading Tamil dynasty in the 13th century. So, in the 13th century, they could emerge as the only leading Tamil dynasties. You know, children, there were three dynasties, the Cheras, Cholas and the Pandyas. And they emerged as a leading dynasty. And their capital was Madurai. Madurai remained their capital. With Madurai as a capital, now Kayal was their great port. Children, for Pandyas on the west coast, they had the Kollam port, and towards the east coast, they had the Korkai or the Kayalpattanam port, which served them, connecting them to Ceylon and the pearl fisheries in Gulf of Mannar facing the Tirunelveli coast. And the Kayalpattanam has one of the oldest mosques in India. Marco Polo, a famous traveler from Venice, visited Kayal twice in 1288 and 1293. You know, children, he was a Venetian merchant and explorer and a writer who traveled through Asia along the Silk Road. He was a great writer also. From him, we come to know about so many things about our past. He tells us that this port town was full of ships from Arabia and China. So he saw many ships from Arabia and China in the port of Kayal. And it was bustling with business activities. It was a busy place and where business was happening. Children, Marco Polo hailed the Pandyan kingdom. Hailed means praised, applaud the Pandyan kingdom as the richest and the most splendid province in the world. He hails the Pandyan kingdom as the richest and the most splendid one. Together with Ceylon, he added, it produced most of the gems and pearls that are found in the world. So he's talking about the pearl fisheries. In his travel account, he recorded the incidents of sati and polygamy practiced by the kings. Children, sati is a historical practice in which a widow sacrifices herself by sitting atop her deceased husband's funeral pyre. It is a state of marriage to many spouses. It is called as polygamy. So Marco Polo is praising the Pandyan kingdom as the richest and the most splendid province in the world. And he says that it gives the most of the gems and pearls are found in the world. It is producer of the gems and the pearls found in the world. Children, now we will see a great king who brought about great economic growth of the Pandyan kingdom. The second Pandyan empire's power and territorial extent had risen to its zenith during his regime. He ruled the entire Tamilnadu, which extended up to Nellore of the present-day Andhra Pradesh. Yes, it is none other than Sadayavarman Sundara Pandyan. The illustrious ruler of the second Pandya kingdom was Sadayavarman Jadavarman Sundara Pandyan. He brought the entire Tamil Nadu under his rule, which extended up to Nellore in Andhra. he held the Hoysalas in check. The Chera ruler, the chief of Malanadu, accepted his feudatory position. Feudatory system is a system in which a feudatory or a chief or a chieftain was given a large piece of land by a more powerful ruler and in return paid tribute in the form of money, agricultural products or manpower in times of war to that ruler. So the chief of Malanadu, the Chera ruler, accepted his feudatory position to him and he paid tribute to the Sundara Pandian. Emboldened means to give the courage or confidence to do something. Emboldened by the decline of the Chola state, the Bhoja king of Malwa region, Veera Samacheer, challenged Sundara Pandian. In a war at Kananur, Sundara Pandian defeated Someshwara. The Hoysala dominions along the river Kaveri was captured and the fortress of Kananur Kopuram also. A great amount of loot was captured along with many horses, elephants and women. Sundara Pandian succeeded in establishing his authority over the chieftains of Kadalur, Kanchipuram in northern Tamilnadu and Arcot and Salem in the western region. The practice of shared rule with one prince asserting primacy was common in the Pandyan kingdom. The other princes of the Pandyan royal family with whom Sundara Pandian shared his rule were Maravarman Vikraman II and his brother Jadavarman Veera Pandian. So there were 2 or 3 co-regents who ruled simultaneously along with Sundara Pandian, Vikrama Pandian and Veera Pandian. A co-regent is a joint regent or ruler. So who were the 2 co-rulers or co-regents who ruled simultaneously with Sundara Pandian? It was Vikrama Pandian and his brother Veera Pandian. After Sundara Pandian, Maravarman Kulasekaran ruled successfully for a period of 40 years, giving the country peace and prosperity. So, Sundara Pandian was succeeded by Maravarman Kulasekaran and he ruled the country for 40 years with peace and prosperity. Unfortunately, the king's appointment of Veera Pandian as co-regent provoked the other son Sundara Pandian, who killed his father Maravarma Kulasekaran. Children, when there is a fight and killing in the royal lineage, then definitely a civil war will start. In the civil war that ensued, ensue is happen or occur afterwards or as a result. In the civil war, Veera Pandian won and became firmly established in his kingdom. So Veera Pandian won the war. He was able to settle the civil war and he became firmly established in his kingdom. The defeated Sundara Pandian fled to Delhi and took refuge under the protection of Alauddin Khilji. So, defeated Sundara Pandian fled. Fled is to run away. He ran away to Delhi and took the refuge. Refuge is shelter under the protection of Alauddin Khilji. Children, Alauddin Khilji was the second sultan of the Ghalji dynasty. He was one of India's greatest kings and one of the world's greatest military genius. And Malik Kafur was a prominent slave general of the Delhi Sultanate under Alauddin Khilji. He led many invasions in the South India. After Malik Kafur's invasion, the Pandyan kingdom came to be divided among a number of kings from the main ruling Pandyas family. In Madurai, a Muslim state subordinate means under, to the Delhi Sultan came to be established. And the Sultanate dynasty ruled for the next 48 years. The Pandyan regime, which had expanded the empire throughout Orissa, Andhra Pradesh and even Sri Lanka, was forced to rule over small areas of Tenkasi, Tirunelveli and Tuticorin's. Let us have a recap of what we learned in this session, children. We learned about the later Pandyas. We know, children, Pandyas were one of the three ancient Tamil dynasties that ruled the South India since the 4th century BC, intermittently, with Korkai as their capital and port. Later on, they moved their capital city to Madurai, which was a center of culture. The Pandyas had re-established their strong position in South India by the end of 6th century, eliminating the rule of the Kalabras. But they couldn't resist the rising power of the later Cholas, who ruled from 9th to 13th century. Once their decline, the later Pandyas re-established their authority. Their rule continued until the 16th century. We also saw the revival of the Pandya kingdom by Kadunkon, who recovered the Pandya territory from the Kalabras towards the close of 6th century. The first strong Pandya ruler was Arikesari Maravarman, also known as the Koon Pandyan, the persecutor of Jains. After Arikesari, the greatest of the dynasty was Jadila Parantaka Nedunjadiyan, who is regarded as a donor of the Velvi Kudi plates. He expanded the Pandyan territory up to Tanjavur, Tiruchirappalli, Salem and Coimbatore district. His successors, Srimara Srivallabha and Varaguna II, were successively defeated by Pallavas. They could not face a rising Chola dynasty under the Parantaka I. Parantaka I defeated the Pandya king Rajasimha II, who fled the country. Thus ended the Pandya rule, revived by Kadungon. We also learned about the rise of the later Pandyas. After the death of Adi Rajendra, the last king of Vijayalaya line, the Chola viceroy became weak in Pandya country. The Pandya kingdom could emerge as the only leading Tamil dynasty in the 13th century, with Madurai as their capital, and Kayal was their great port. Marco Polo, a famous traveller from Venice, tells that this port town was full of ships from Arabia and China. We also learned about the Sadayavarman Sundara Pandyan, who brought the entire Tamilnadu under his rule, which extended up to Nellore in Andhra, who held Hoysalas in check and made the chief of Malanadu, the Chera ruler, his feudatory. He was able to defeat the Veera Someshwara, the Boja king of Malwa region. He also succeeded in establishing his authority over the chieftains of Kadalur, Kanchipuram and in northern Tamil Nadu, Arcot and Salem in the western region. After Sundara Pandyan, Maravarman Kulasekaran ruled successfully for a period of 40 years. He had two sons, and the king's appointment of Veera Pandyan as co-regent provoked the other son Sundara Pandyan, who killed his father Maravarman Kulasekaran. Sundara Pandyan fled to Delhi and took refuge under the protection of Alauddin Khilji and provided the opening for the invasion of Malik Kafur. After his invasion, Pandyan kingdom came to be divided into a number of kings from the main ruling Pandyan's family, and Madurai, a Muslim state subordinate to the Delhi Sultan, came to be established. That's all for today's session, my dear children. In the next session, we will discuss about the polity and society of Pandya kingdom.